Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to our bug playthrough of Chimera. So beginning with bug number 1 is the opening cutscene has the character, or whichever character that is model, stuck in a T-pose. And if you look closely, like when it starts to move and stuff, it lacks animation, so like it still is animated, but it's stuck in a T-pose model, like the skeleton's not exactly cooperating with the animations. And then we are going to be moving on to bug number 2, which is showing that both arms cannot be grafted. As you can see, when you try switching, it has like a little bug in the UI, and both arms cannot be grafted, so you can only use one arm at a time, essentially. Here is moving on to bug number 3, which was something that I noticed a little bit more in my first playthrough, which was hitbox issues, and I especially noticed it with the croc. It's a little hard to see here. It was a lot more consistent in other playthroughs, but essentially when the croc would emerge from the ground, a lot of the times it was almost impossible to be able to dodge its attacks. It was almost like the hitbox was just off. And also you can see here the UI is also having an issue with the health bar. If you look at like some of the turtles' health bars and stuff, they go below what the actual health bar is, and essentially it looks like the enemy has more health than they should. I think right here is what, yeah, like there's no way I could have dodged that attack. You can see their health bar is beyond the UI, so it is right there. Moving on to bug number 5, we have the invisible objects in level. And as you'll see here in a little bit, there are objects scattered throughout this level. It's not exactly consistent with every lab level, but I would say about half the lab levels have invisible objects in them. As you'll be able to see here, as I pick up the item and then I start walking, you start to notice that there are like odd items I start to collide with, and it can be frustrating because sometimes in some of my playthroughs in combat I've been stuck on them and it does actually get me killed. So it's not every lab level, but it's consistent with some of the levels. Now moving on to the next bug, this one was an odd one. It was when I purchased the gecko arm. As you can see there, it doesn't land properly, and the UI that you can normally see there is now also appearing within the shop's UI. And it's very odd because it's almost like the UI just shifts perspective, and I guess it follows the camera. It was a very odd bug, and I did not even know about that one until this playthrough, actually. Now with this next bug, I actually discovered because I went to go take a break, so I paused the game literally right after I just did that. I came back and the arm was vanished. I hadn't done anything else, and it's not like game time was playing. The item just simply vanished. It was very odd. Moving on to this bug, I know this was somewhat mentioned in the readme, but this is a separate bug, I believe, because in the readme it was almost like one of the objectives couldn't be completed, so you press I because something's blocking the door. But with this, there were no button inputs working at all, so you could not move, you could only attack. So I think it's a bit different than the bug suggested in the readme. Moving on to this section, this is like a little compilation I put together of the last bug, which is the poison damage being outright absurd. As you can see there, the crocodile didn't even have a chance. He instantly died as soon as he exited the ground. We come here to the rhino, he instantly dies. The poison damage I've noticed through the playthrough is incredibly broken and I'm not entirely sure why, but from what I can tell is not only is it hitting harder than it says it is, so like when it says 10 damage or 8 damage, like there it says 8 damage, you can see how fast the boss's health bar goes down after using poison. I mean, look at that. I can't tell if it's hitting more times than it should, or if the damage numbers are just higher than they should be. But the poison, as you can see on a lot of these bosses, is extremely lethal, especially on the turtles here. And the turtles are supposed to be some of the toughest enemies in the game, because they have a lot of health. They die like nothing. Here, moving on to the second boss, which should be pretty hard, especially was on my first playthrough. It almost seems trivial using the poison. Moving on here, you can see that the melee boss out of the two, actually when he gets to this corner right here, he just absolutely melts from poison damage. And he's gone. And moving on to like the second phase where the second boss gets all his health back, I start to whittle him down with the poison. And it says it's hitting for 12, but I think it's the damage really procs a lot when they sit in it, because I think the damage is proccing more than it should. It's almost proccing like every millisecond. Okay, that's a little too fast, but it's proccing extremely quickly, beating it extremely lethal. Here we have the Marrowed enemy types, which is supposed to be the tankiest enemy type I figured out, and there it just dies instantly. I don't know exactly how the poison scales, so this is going to be upgraded poison as well, actually, to Marrowed. And take a look here about how fast I kill the final boss. On my other playthroughs, it took me a couple of minutes to be able to kill the final boss. Here, I think it took me maybe 20-30 seconds. The poison is incredibly overpowered, and as you can see there, final boss dead. So that's going to be all of the bugs that we came across or all the major bugs we came across for Chimera. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you later.